Hello again, William. I'd like to outdoors, and today I'd like to thank you for joining me for another Burn Friday Burn and the continuation of the commands of Christ. This week, command number 45, watch and pray. Last week, remember, command number 44 was keep my commands. Well, there was a reason behind all of these commands, and we should be watchful because that evil one will send temptation your way, my way, and mosquitoes are bad already, but there's as long as we're living in this dark world, there's going to be trials, tribulations, temptations, testings of all sorts, especially anything that, like I said, that evil one can send your way is going to. That's why in Matthew chapter 26, verse number 41, Jesus had taken his disciples with him up on up to the Garden of Gethsemane on the night that he was arrested, and he took a few of them. He told some of them to wait, and he took a few of them to go with him to pray. And they went a little further, and he told these three guys to watch and pray. He said, stay here and watch and pray. And verse number 41, he said, keep watch and pray so that you will not give in to temptation. There's a little more to that passage that I haven't mentioned yet, but I will, because I want to get over there and get the burn started so that I can get back at this. There is, like I said, I'm going to read a couple more verses to go along with that, and maybe say something about what's going on right now. I'll be right back. All right. Let's see. Okay, I'm back, along with my displeasure of living in town. So let's take a deeper look at what I just read. Oh, I'm going to read Matthew chapter 26, verses 36 through 41. And like I had mentioned before, Jesus took his disciples with him up on the Mount of Olives, the, the Garden of Gethsemane. Uh, my Bible says that, starting at verse 36, then Jesus went with them to the olive grove called Gethsemane, and he said, sit here while I go over there to pray. He took Peter and Zebedee's two sons, James and John, and he became anguished and distressed. He told them, my soul is crushed with grief to the point of death. Stay here and keep watch with me. He went on a little further and bowed with his face to the ground, praying, my Father, if it is possible, let this cup of suffering be taken away from me. Yet I want your will to be done, not mine. Then he returned to the disciples and found them asleep. He said to Peter, couldn't you watch with me even 1 hour? Keep watch and pray, so that you will not give in to temptation, for the spirit is willing, but the body is weak. I believe that he was telling Peter, I know you're sleepy and tired from the day. It's late at night and you want to go to sleep. But I really need you to pray with me. So keep watch and pray. I believe, since he said keep watch, last week when the command was keep my commands, I mentioned that the word keep was significant in its meaning because it meant to guard with diligence even. Well, this week, keep watch, keep guard, be watchful. There's not really a whole lot that I'm going to be saying about this command because it's pretty much there in those 3 words. Keep watch and pray. And then in the rest of that statement, that you enter not into temptation. See, as long as we are staying in a prayerful state of mind, we are keeping our eyes on him and not what we want. Jesus said in that passage I just got through reading, not my will, but yours. And he was talking to God. He said, not my will. I don't want my will. I want your will to be accomplished. And that's the way we should be. We should be fervent. I read that here recently too. That the fervent prayers of a righteous man avails a lot. So fervency in prayer by the power of the Holy Spirit is a good preservative. Keep. Yeah. It's a good preservative against thoughts rushing in. Sometimes we allow our minds to just wander off over yonder somewhere, not really paying attention. We're not keeping watch. And, you know, if we're keeping watch, it's like keeping the pot boiling. And that's why flies don't settle on a boiling pot. They just ain't going to. And that's if we're keeping our spirit boiling, keeping it hot for Christ, the temptations are going to have a harder time landing in our mind. So watch and pray. Keep guard. Guard your thoughts, your imagination, like the Apostle Paul said. Well, I should have put on some mosquito spray, anti-mosquito spray. But I wasn't watching. So the diligence and alertness in watching is an act of waging war with evil. And, of course, we have to depend daily on God's grace in everything we do, especially when we're, by all means, according to the power of the Spirit, keeping guard against evil and temptations. When Jesus was out in the wilderness being tempted of the devil, 40 days, and he had to watch. He had to pray. And even though he was, Satan still came after him with temptations. And you can read that passage and you can see how he resisted the temptation. He quoted scriptures. So just like Jesus, even though he had grown weary, hungry from fasting 40 days, we too must not grow weary in the battle. He was ready for battle. It didn't matter that he had already become weary and hungry. We need to look forward to the victory crown. We've mentioned something about crowns before, and I will most likely get around to doing a video about 7 crowns that's upcoming. Not real soon, but it's upcoming. And I said, that I might say something about what's going on. Well, I think I will. And my displeasure for city dwelling, because of the laws in the city, people are allowed to play and make as much noise as they want to. It doesn't matter how close your neighbors are. They're allowed to make so much noise until 10 o'clock at night. So it doesn't matter how insulated your house is, how tight you shut your windows and doors. The neighbors are still going to interrupt you with their noise. And once they find out, just like once Satan found out that Jesus was weary and hungry, he started tempting him. So neighbors like that who are walking in darkness, I mean, you know they're walking in darkness because of the language they use and the attitude they take toward you when you just step outside and look their direction. But for now, we have to put up with it. No matter our displeasure with it. They have the right to demand their noise making, and the law protects them. But we have no right to demand the quiet. The law doesn't protect that. Ain't that something? The law doesn't protect good, it protects evil. And that's all you can call it. Anyway, so much for my rant on that. Let's watch and pray and let God take care of the situation. Yeah, that's what I should do. Put God on them, huh? Watching is an active appraisal of what's happening around us in both the spiritual and physical realms. All of this noise that these neighbors are making not only affects us physically because it gets us in an uproar, it affects our spiritual well-being as well. And Satan is waiting to steal, kill, and destroy that which we fail to watch over. And if we're failing to watch over our spiritual well-being, yeah, he's going to attack us with that. And the closer we are to God in prayer, the less harmful effect Satan's darts will have. See, we're supposed to have on the armor of God, and our shield of faith is supposed to deflect those darts. So, like I said at the beginning, I wasn't going to be long on this. I was going to be kind of short because what can be said? You need to watch. You need to pray. That's it. Not just because Jesus commanded it, because it's what you need to do if you are a believer in and follower of Jesus Christ. So, I would ask that you join me again next week, or maybe it'll be a longer one, with command number 46. And we are going to be shepherds. Yeah, he said, feed my sheep. So that's what we're going to do. Feed his sheep. He said, if you love me. So won't you join me again next week for another Burn Friday Burn and another command of Christ. May the Lord bless and keep you.